Hey guys, it's me, Brandon, from Beacon Picture Productions, and today I'm going to be showing you some advanced color grading techniques. Well, when I say advanced, I mean that there are going to be many more steps, and it will take up much more hard drive space, but the basic ideas of color grading are still going to stay the same. What we're going to be doing today, essentially, is grading a non-raw clip as though it were raw. The footage itself won't have any extra detail added. It will still be the MOV H.264 compression of Canon DSLRs, but the workflow will be that of a raw grade. Capiche? Okay, good. So let's jump over to the computer and begin, shall we?
Alright guys, so now we're here in front of the computer, and the first thing that I'm going to do is open up Adobe Media Encoder CC. So let's open that up. And so essentially what I'm going to be doing is converting this movie file right here into a series of JPEG images. And then from there we're going to go into Adobe Lightroom and grade them using the more or less raw style. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and drag this into the queue. Okay, now the output file, let's go ahead and find a place for it. So I'll go Episodes, Advanced Color Grading, and I'll say Image Series. Okay, and then we'll call this Branch. Okay, now the preset I'm going to choose is Format JPEG, and then HD 1080p 24 sequence. And I'm not going to edit anything about it, I'm just going to leave it how it is. As you can see, here's our clip. Now it's an 8-second clip, and I don't want to have to deal with all 8 seconds, so now I'm going to bring it down to be about a 2-second clip. I'm going to say OK, and click the little play button, and it will begin to encode. And you hear that sound, and that means it is done. So I'm going to go into, let me see, going to go into Episodes, Advanced Color Grading, Image Series, and as you can see, we have our JPEG images of the branch. And that's looking quite nice. So now we have all of these. I'm going to leave Adobe Media Encoder open in the background, and I'm going to go ahead and open up Adobe Photoshop Lightroom 5. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ignore. And we're going to go into File, Import Photos and Video. And, okay. So now, with this open, I'm going to go ahead and take all of this and drag it into the little area, and as you can see, they are all checked. I'm just going to move that off to the side, and I'm going to click Import, and what that's going to do is, well, obviously it's going to import. So while those are all loading, we can just start retouching. So go into the Develop tab over here, and we're going to start off just with some basics. So we're going to bring down the highlights and bring up the shadows. To give it kind of a nice HDR-ish style look. Then I'm going to drag the white out by holding down the Option key, and then dragging, we're going to start to see where the whites are blown out. And obviously we don't want it to be blown out, so I'm going to go to the point just before they start showing up. So about right there is good. And then the same thing for the blacks. I'm going to go until I start seeing some blacks. Right there is good. The exposure looks good. I might lower it just a fuzz, and then that's going to affect the black point again, so I'm going to go back. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to make this a little bit, well, let me see, what do I want to do here? Could make it warmer. That has kind of an interesting look, but this was during the winter, so I don't know. I kind of like the cooler look. So something around like that for the white balance temperature, and then for the tint, I'm gonna make it just a wee bit green. very subtle. But so obviously, as you can see now, the before and the after, it's making a big difference. Now the clarity, this gives it kind of like a cool HDR-ish tone. I'm gonna boost that up. The vibrance, how am I gonna do this? I guess a bleach bypass look might look cool, but I'm gonna just boost it just to show you how far you can boost it. So I think that's good. Saturation, I might just leave about where it is. Tone curve, I'm gonna leave that alone. Hue saturation, black and white, I'm just gonna leave that alone. Now the detail, let's zoom into a part where it could be a little noisy, about right there. So noise reduction, I'm gonna bring this up to about 20, and that's gonna nicely get rid of some of the artifacts. In fact, I'm gonna bring that up to even like 30. Okay, looking much cleaner. And then the sharpening, I'm going to boost up to about 60. Looks nice. And then just to get rid of some unwanted noise, by holding down the option key and clicking the masking, you're going to show which edges are being sharpened. As you can see, everything's being sharpened here. Just the very rim is being sharpened here. I'm going to bring this to be about there. There we go, that's good. Color noise, this was like ISO 100, so there's really not going to be much color noise. Lens correction, enable profile correction, and remove chromatic aberration. The profile is a Canon, and then it's going to fill in the rest of the info for us, which is nice. And then for the vignetting, let's bring in some vignetting. I'm going to give this a really, really intense vignette, something like that. Maybe I'll bring the feather up a bit, and then again make it a little more intense. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And the grain, I might add a little bit of grain. I'll make the grain amount like 20. Okay. So lastly, for camera calibration, this is not something you need to do, but something that can make it look cool. You can just mess around with some of the settings, like the blues, like choosing the tints of the blues and the saturations. I mean, this is not a very important step, so I'm just going to leave that alone. But as you can see, we have the before and we have the after. That is a huge difference, and it would be quite difficult to achieve in something like Adobe Premiere. So before, after, it looks pretty cool. You know what, I might even do this. Choose the aspect of... Okay, so I'm going to go here to 2.35 to 1. So that's going to give us like the very much CinemaScope style of shooting. So I'll go about in the middle. Something like that. And I'll click done. And there we go. We have the before. It's still going to keep the crop, but before and after. So now I'm going to select all of these down here. And I'm going to click sync. And I'm going to make sure that crop is selected. And everything else should be, actually I'm just going to say check all. And synchronize. So now all of these photos down here are going to become essentially the same, as you can see. So once they are all, in fact, changed, you just want to shift through these to be sure. And I'm sorry if this is taking a while, just bear with me here for a second. Okay, so now I'm going to go and say File, Export, to specific folder, choose, I'm going to go back into Episodes, then into Advanced Color Grading, and I'm going to say Final Image Series, choose, and then let's call this, I'm going to rename to custom name, and then we'll call this Dark Branch, because, you know, why not? So now it's going to go and it's going to export all of these, and I'll check back in with you here in a second. Okay guys, so now as you can see, we have our final images in a series right here. So I'm going to go ahead and open Media Encoder, and I'm going to click the plus up here, and then select the first image in the sequence. Now it's very important that you just select the first, because then it'll prompt you to say JPEG file sequence, whereas if you were to do, say, a bunch of them, it'll say multiple sequences, and that's not a good thing. So click the first one, JPEG file sequence, and then go ahead and select all of them. Okay, so I'm going to click open, and it's going to open. Now, let's go ahead and choose a destination. So I'm going to go into here, and let's just call this, dark branch shot. Okay, click save. Now, I'm going to do this in pretty high quality, so I'm going to go Format, QuickTime, then I'm going to go Video Codec, Apple ProRes 422 LT. It's a version of ProRes that's just not as big. Okay, and then I'm gonna make sure that the frame rate is 23.976, since that is, of course, what DSLR footage is. Field order progressive. The other ones are 1080i. P means progressive, so 1080p. And yeah, so I'm gonna click OK. And when I'm ready, I'm going to click the play button, and that's going to go ahead and it's going to put all of them together. We hear that wonderful noise, which means it is done. So we get out of there, go back into episodes, episode 25, and as we can see, Dark Branch Shot is right there, and it is ready to be played.
Alright guys, well I hope you found this video helpful. Again, this is really not a process that you should use for every shot, as it is extremely time consuming as well as hard drive consuming. But when that particular clip does come along that is being quite rowdy or ungradable in your NLE of choice, well, you know what to do. So as always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys next time with my face. So, it's me, Brandon KM, and I'm signing off.